Every player dreams that one day he will be immortalized on an NBA poster. Unless he's that other guy on the poster. No matter what a player's famous for, he still gets thirsty.
Oh, he took him to school!
Come on. Yes. Come on. Darn!
At ZDNet, we'll help you get more out of technology.
Let's do this. Yes, ma'am.
ZDNet.com, where technology takes you.
Son, can I try that on?
No.
In Charlotte tonight, a moment of silence citywide in Charlotte for Bobby Phills. First game at the Charlotte Coliseum since his death last week. David Wesley and the Hornets trying to get back to work. Early on, Vince Carter with the big-time dunk. He had 10 points in the first quarter, also picked up 3 fouls and went to the bench. Charlotte with some nice ball movement, winding up with the Eldon Campbell dunk. It's a 1-point game. They're down 28-27. And then Doug Christie sighting up a 3 and knocking it down 50-38 at that point. Moments ago, Vince Carter got shaken up, left the floor. Toronto's been shaken up lately. The 27-2 run by the Hornets, giving Charlotte the lead back at home at the Hive. Earlier today, the Seattle Supersonics and the LA Lakers riding the seesaw late in that game as Glenn Rice hits a jumper. And then down by 2, Gary Payton hits a 3. Tied his season high with 36 points. They're up 1 trying to protect the lead. Kobe Bryant's jumper won't go. Robert Horry keeps it alive, but Kobe has nowhere to go. And the Lakers have their 14-game home winning streak snapped by the Seattle Supersonics. So what exactly is the key to beating the Lakers? They've lost 2 out of 3. They're in a real tailspin.
And a tailspin. But if you look at the Lakers basketball team, you realize that you have to concede certain things. And Shaquille O'Neal is one of those things. He's going to get his 30 points. He's going to shoot well against you. And he's going to play great defense now this year. But the other thing you can possibly do is slow down Kobe Bryant and slow down Glenn Rice. Today they were 10 for 31 combined together because you had the athleticism of Gary Payton and Ruben Patterson, guys who can match up with them. If you have 2 guys who are athletic, you can possibly beat them Lakers to match up with those guys. But if you don't, it's an easy lose. It's an easy loss, rather.
The Seattle Supersonics have won 7 out of 8 in the year 2000. They ended up 1999 with a 5-game losing streak, but they have righted that ship. Obviously, they win today 82-81. Live look, Dallas playing Houston, and look in the middle right there. Akeem Olajuwon.
The dream is back!
He certainly is back in there. He's picked up a couple of rebounds so far as they play in the second. And in this live look, let's see if Rudy Tomjanovich says, hey, let the national audience see the dream, can a couple. No? Maybe next trip down.
Thomas in the post. Things have changed in Houston.
40-22, the Rockets with the lead. All right, thank you, Kevin Harlan. Coming up next on this Martin Luther King Day edition of Inside the NBA, 4 Hall of Famers and an extended roundtable discussion on Dr. King, his vision, and his impact on their lives and careers. We'll have the Monday night highlights, including a down-to-the-wire job for the Sonics and the Lakers. It's Inside the NBA, presented by Hyundai.
Tim Thomas driving and flying, stuffing, scoring. My goodness.
Here's Christie from the corner for 3, and finally Vince says, let's get a little closer. Carter for 2.
Well, their jump shot happy. He's just jump happy. Rebound by Davis, and Jackson leads it the other way. Wide open as Rose with a 2-handed sledgehammer.
We'll never be in the Raptors here in Charlotte. Here comes Eldon Campbell from Eddie Robinson. Well done, Eldon.
7 seconds. Driving, losing the ball on a turnover. They give it up the floor. Allen Iverson will put it home for 2, and that's it.
And we cap off our Martin Luther King Jr. holiday doubleheader on TBS NBA Monday with an extended version of Inside the NBA presented by Hyundai, along with Kenny Smith, Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. Great stuff at the Target Center, a thriller right down to it. And Malik Sealy turns out to be the hero on a night when Kevin Garnett was huge. But that feeling, there must be nothing like it to win an NBA game like that and your teammates all over you.
Well, actually, it's better because Malik Sealy wasn't in the zone today. That was a shot that he didn't expect to go in. He probably wasn't even following through correctly, and it goes in for the game winner. That feels better than even when you're on a roll, when you're hitting 6 or 7 in a row, because you don't expect it at all to go down.
Second time in recent weeks that Malik Sealy has been the hero. He won a game for him in Orlando earlier this season. Your thoughts on what we saw from Minnesota? They've lost 3 games in recent weeks, 2 of those to the Miami Heat, 1 to the Lakers. And this is a team that really struggled early on, Kenny.
They struggled early on. They had some injuries, and they had players come back. You had Joe Smith, even though he was back, was still injured. And Zerbiak goes out. Wally Zerbiak goes out for a while. But you look at this team, you just like to see them win because they play with a great deal of enthusiasm and a great deal of hustle and heart. You have Terrell Brandon minutes before the game saying he's not going to play, and then you have a replacement point guards come in. Everyone on that team is so excited. It's good to see them guys win.
The Target Center rocking tonight. We'll keep the lines open. If there's somebody else we can talk to about that Minnesota win, we'll certainly do it on this extended version of Inside the NBA. Houston Rockets, Dallas Mavericks playing right now. Here's a live look at Reunion Arena. And Houston holding on to a 5-point lead with 7:23 to go in that game. And Hakeem Olajuwon making his return to the Houston Rocket lineup after that groin injury. And the Rockets extend their lead on the Cuttino Mobley basket. A live look here on Inside the NBA presented by Hyundai. And when we come back, it's the first game at the Charlotte Coliseum since Bobby Phil's death. The Hornets taking on the Toronto Raptors. In L.A., the Lakers have won 14 straight at home. Would that streak withstand a visit from the Glove? And we'll bring you the first installment of the Roundtable. Thompson, Russell, Robertson, and Embry.
Inside the NBA on TBS is brought to you by Hyundai. Every Hyundai is backed by America's best warranty with 10 years powertrain coverage.
Introducing the all-new Hyundai Accent. It gives you a serious array of responsible features without losing its wild side. The 2000 Accent from Hyundai, with the freedom of America's best warranty.
I should have used Preparation H.
Cool it fast with Preparation H Cooling Gel. Cools on contact for fast relief. Preparation H Cooling Gel cools on contact.
Nothing tops ice cream better than Hershey's chocolate syrup. So feel free to pour it on. But do watch out for those cherries.
Hi, Daddy. You wish you had a camera now, don't you?
A digital camera. It's a simple way to send photos over the internet.
640 by 480 resolution is fine for websites. But for larger formats, 1,000,000 pixels is a good benchmark.
If learning about digital cameras were this easy, you wouldn't need a place like 800.com. But it isn't. So you do. 800.com. Everything you always wanted from an electronics store and more.
On the open sea, there's nowhere to hide.
Here we go.
Something's happened.
Free Willy 3, The Rescue. Sunday night at 7:05 on the Superstation.
And we welcome you back to Inside the NBA, presented by Hyundai. TBS NBA Monday, a thriller at the Target Center. Minnesota defeating Indiana 101-100 on Malik Sealy's three-pointer at the buzzer. Career-high 37 points for Kevin Garnett tonight, and he's hanging around with Craig Sager. Thanks for hanging around, both of you.
Well, I think it's a good thing they won it in regulation with a three-pointer because you look pretty exhausted over there.
Not exhausted, just, man, this is a big emotional win for us. Guys hung in there. We missed some shots earlier. Those guys, Indiana's, one of the best teams in the NBA, by far. And, we lost to the Lakers, and we really wasn't, happy about that. We think we're one of the best teams in the league. Whether you believe it, Craig, or, whomever, we believe in that. And we come out each night and work hard. And for us to play like that against the Lakers, we wasn't happy about that. So tonight was more of a statement game, more of a carryover from practice. And, we came out, Malik hit the big shot, man. It was a big emotional win for us tonight.
You said you believe you're one of the best teams in the league, yet you've had a fear of Indiana. Coach admitted that. This is the first time since March of '96 you've beaten them. What does that do for this team?
Coach admitted that. I don't think.
Well, you hadn't beaten them yourself.
Well, hey, I ain't afraid of no one. Whether they beat us or not. But the whole thing is going out competing at a high level, and that's what we did tonight.
What about Joe Smith? He came in that fourth quarter, was sensational, hit his first 5 shots, actually kept you in the game.
Well, Joe's given us a lift, all year. He's given us that spark off the bench, and we have players that understand their role, and he comes in and he feels that role that he's asked to come out every night and do. And without Joe keeping us in the game, and everybody played hard. Terrell was out tonight, so we knew everyone had to step their game up. So.
You're still a youngster, 23 years old. You'd be your rookie year if you had gone to college. The role you have taken on in leadership, how have you evolved, do you think, in your career?
Well, I'm a lot more, outspoken than I was when I first got here. What you have to understand, everybody has a sense of progression. You just don't come in your first year and speak like you the man. I have to learn just like any other young person in the world. I sat back and, we have leaders like, Sam Mitchell and Tom Hammonds who are, gutty veterans who, come out and have put a lot into this league. And, for a person just to come in and so-called, just because of where they're drafted, that doesn't necessarily make you the man. And, my whole thing was just to come in and learn from veterans. That's what I've done. Now it's my turn to, speak up on a couple issues, but I also know that we have veterans and Tom Hammonds and Sam Mitchell who still, lead the pack, so to speak. But, those guys, I asked them a lot of questions about leading. Like you said, I'm still young, so I'm still learning.
A big victory on Dr. King's national holiday.
It was a great day, man. I hope everybody, took something away from Dr. King Day. Not that, it's a black and white issue, but, how we as people need to come together. It's a lot of different things in the media right now, but I think as we as people are the only ones that's going to be able to change it until we do that, and things are going to be like that. But I hope everybody had a safe day. I hope everybody enjoyed the day, and that's all I have to say, man. I'm tired. I'm wasted.
Well, I'll say one more thing. Part of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech was, he said, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in a vast ocean of material prosperity. You're the highest paid player in the league. Be worth every penny. And we're glad to do the game tonight, and everybody got their money's worth.
Amen.
All right. Very mature 23-year-old. Let's go back to the studio now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Craig. Yeah, this is a guy who's always had a very healthy respect for those who have gone before, whether that be NBA players or Dr. King, and then the guy you call No Limit, and showing it tonight that who knows how well this guy can play.
No, if you haven't seen it, if you've seen him play, if you had never seen him play, and then you just seen that interview, you like the guy. I mean, it just in his emotion for the game, his passion for the game is very evident in what he says. And then on the court, he leaves everything on. He said he's wasted because he leaves everything on the court, and then the next week he's coming back to play. So next day, I say he's no limit because he has no limits offensively or defensively. One of the best players in the NBA.
I remember talking to him when he was a rookie, and he thought it was so cool just to be talking to Kevin McHale, who was his boss, because this is the guy he used to watch on TV. He's always had that respect, and boy, has he got some serious skills, too. Let's go to some of the highlights from this Monday. The Lakers at home against the Seattle Supersonics. 14-game winning streak for the Lakers at the Staples Center. The big block by Shaq, and he's running the floor, and Ron Harper has got the finish. Lakers down by 1 at the break. Seattle was up by 4 after 3. Then the game is tied, and watch the green shirts go back the other way. Nice finish by Reuben Patterson. They're up by a deuce. Later, 78-77 Sonics. Glenn Rice, this is what you call a pure jumper.
Pure as
Ivory Snow, and it's in there, 79-78. Paul Westfall's guys then down 81-79. You want pure? How about Gary Payton?
Gary's not pure, but he wills basketballs in the basket. He wills it in.
He willed it in 36 times, tying his season high. Now, time running out. Robert Horry does a great job to keep it alive after the Kobe miss, and then the glove says, where are you going to go, Kobe? Going to go into the seats. The only way you can blow this game is inbounded under your own basket and have it being stolen. Almost was. The shot wouldn't have counted by Glenn Rice. It was late, but the Sonics escape with a win at the Staples Center, 82-81. So much for the 14-game home winning streak of the Lakers. Boy, the Sonics have been playing some great ball lately. They win at 82-81, 6-0 in games decided by 4 or less, and 23-1 when they take a lead to the fourth quarter, as they did today against the Lakers. Milwaukee Bucks, Atlanta Hawks, Phillips Arena. Tim Thomas. Watch him take this thing to the rack.
The rim is too low, Ernie.
41-32 Bucks. Ray Allen. Remember, he took a shot in the nose the other night from Vince Carter. Takes another one, this time from J.R. Ryder. And again, he's got the stuff stuck up his nose. That's all we see from highlights of Ray Allen lately. And then Jim Jackson, who had 17, nails a three. 2 S's, 2 L's. Sam Cassell spinning on the rookie Jason Terry. 31 points, 11 assists, and it's the Bucks over the Hawks, 107-101. The Hawks struggling at home. They are just 10-9, and they have also lost 14 of their last 18. For the Milwaukee Bucks, their 10th win by 6 points or less. For the Hawks, their 10th loss by 6 points or less. Interesting thing you're talking about with the Milwaukee Bucks. You got the big dog, you got Cassell, you got Ray Allen. Who makes the All-Stars and who doesn't? That's a pretty good trio right there.
That's the best trio in the 1-2-3 punch in basketball. There's no 3 players in those positions that's better than them on any other team. However, when you talk about All-Stars, you have to pick one, and you have to decide, or maybe even 2 at most, if they're lucky, which I don't think they'll be. But the importance of that team is there is no difference between those 3 players, and it's really a popularity contest. Ray Allen wins that popularity contest. But before Sam Cassell came to that team was not a dangerous team. They were a good basketball team.
No, they had a 1-2, and that was the only punch.
But they weren't dangerous. Sam Cassell brought so many different things to the table, and he hits game-winning shots. I'm partial to Sam pushing him into that All-Star game.
It's like your former teammate or something like this. Well, on this day when we observe the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we also pause and reflect on his life, on his vision, on his dream. And we do so with a unique gathering of basketball's elite. It's an extended roundtable discussion, which we've broken into several segments. You will hear from a Hall of Fame foursome: John Thompson, Bill Russell, Oscar Robertson, and Wayne Embry, 4 men whose lives and careers intersected with the civil rights movement, each man bringing a unique perspective to the discussion held on the campus of Georgetown University.
What was it like for you guys to experience the civil rights revolution with Dr. King going through it, with the movement, and how did those things affect you in your professional career? Wayne?
Well, growing up in the 40s and 50s, we grew up in a segregated environment. And I grew up kind of in a different situation perhaps than Oscar or Bill. I grew up in a rural area. And although I could engage and I had many white friends, I was disciplined, though, not to think that I could go to a movie with them or to a restaurant with them, because I just couldn't. So my parents and my family just says, hey, you just can't do that.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up outside Springfield, Ohio.
Okay. Yeah.
And went to a school, at high school. There was only a black student in that high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to make the adjustment. I had a lot of trepidation as I had approached going to Tecumseh High School, because I knew that I would be the only black student. And so, yes, I had fears. But after a few days, both the white students and I engaged, and we established a great relationship of mutual respect. But that didn't mean I could go to the restaurants with them, because I couldn't.
Oscar, how different was it from what, for you, for what Rainey said.
John, I think I was very lucky when I grew up because I went to an all-black school. And I learned about the black culture, black history and whatnot. But coming from the South, I grew up in a neighborhood that was all black. So a lot of things that people talk about when they say the civil rights movement, I guess I was involved in that all my life to the extent, and then when I heard about Dr. King, it's almost like there was a glow out there, something to look forward to. There was a better days coming. But I never was around any whites until I played against them in sports. I mean, I didn't go to restaurants. The movies were all black. Everything was totally black. And when I went back down to Tennessee to see my grandparents, I sat in the back of the bus with a little couple of sandwiches and whatnot. And I didn't get off the bus until I got into Nashville. People came and got me, and I went down into the country. So it's a different feeling, a different way of life altogether than what goes on today. I think that what really was lacking per se was the communication to really educate people what it was all about, because the white press didn't want this to happen. They didn't want the King movement to go forward because it was more about economics as well as civil rights issues as well, and people treating each other better in America.
When did you first become aware, conscious of the civil rights movement, Russell? When that's what I'm trying to. When other than the fact of reading it in the newspaper, how conscious were you of it?
Well, I was born in pre-World War II Louisiana, and that was a hard place, a really hard place. I always say those were some of the meanest people that on this planet in northern Louisiana, and I
always thought you were.
Well, I learned from them. And so, but then I moved to California, and I went from completely and totally segregated. I don't think I'd ever had a conversation with a white person, but by the time I left Louisiana, I had played with one white kid a little bit, my father's boss's son. But then I went to California. I went to a completely and totally integrated school, like probably 15 to 20% of the students were black, and the rest were white kids.
Well, but see, that's what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find out whether you guys were comfortable with the movement, whether it was disruptive to you.
Go ahead, Oscar. But I didn't find it disruptive.
I yield to Wayne's age.
Okay.
Not much. But
well, particularly, I'm interested in what Wayne has to say based on where he lived, too.
Yeah. Well, I think as we progressed in our careers, we were confronted with more racism. I can recall my first year in the league. We played an exhibition game in Charleston, West Virginia, I believe, and we were playing the Minneapolis Lakers. And that was Elgin's rookie year as well, and we couldn't stay in the hotel. And Elgin chose not to play the game. And this is we come from different backgrounds. Elgin came from, of course, Washington, D.C., and I came from rural Ohio. And Elgin did not play in the game, and I did. And I was asked by the reporters after, why did I go ahead and play in the game? Well, I was afraid. I mean, I was just simply scared. Of course, I didn't have the status as a player.
And that was real. That fear was real.
Yeah, I was scared. I said, if I don't play in this game, I'm not going to make this team. And so I played in the game. Now, I respected very much what Elgin did. And I think that kind of was an eye-opener for me.
How did he react to what you did?
Elgin?
Yeah, because I find a lot of young blacks, particularly today, very judgmental about the actions of people that they have never been in their situation. How did he feel about you playing and his not wanting to play?
I think he respected where I was because, I'm a player coming out of Miami, Ohio. I was drafted in the 3rd round, and Elgin was the first player picked in the draft, and he was a great player.
Oscar, you from a predominantly black environment most of your young career, you hear about the civil rights movement. These people are now coming in and causing trouble, stirring up stuff. How did you react to it?
I had an older brother named Bailey who's passed away. He was used to educate me a lot. And also, the guys in the neighborhood also tell you about things. This is where you really learn life, not from your parents per se a lot, but from the guys on the block. And they were talking about certain things happening. For instance, at our high school where I played, it's a good thing that they had Russells and Waynes and you and other people who played in situations and areas where you were the only one or one or two, because they saw a different type of black person. They didn't see, and I shouldn't use Stephen Fetchit as an example, but didn't see that type of person on the air, because Stephen Fetchit was a smart individual.
Very smart.
Because he made money.
Exactly.
But yet still, I think whites got to see a different individual, a person who was not on the block doing these things and involved with drugs and whatnot, because, you know, in those days, you know, that's where they sold drugs most in the black neighborhoods, and law enforcement agents did nothing about it. But it gave people an opportunity to see people of a different way. And when you start to win basketball games and football and baseball games, you take on a little different structure. You know, you say, well, we'll accept him, and as long as you're successful and going on and doing certain things, then they don't per se believe that you're a black person to the extent that they can only see you.
Right.
But they say, oh no, well, Bill's not like it, or Wayne or Oscar's not like that. You know, he's not like those other guys.
Much more still to come on this extended version of Inside the NBA. On our next segment, John Thompson and company on Dr. King and Malcolm X and on the civil rights movement. And when we come back, the Pistons, winners of 9 out of 10 in a Monday matinee at the Garden, while Allen Iverson and Stephon Marbury are center stage in Philadelphia. We'll be back.